try to pause for a moment. There's no need to rush, no need to try to explain yourself, just observe. Have you ever sat in a group of friends where everyone could talk for hours about football? They argue about players, analyze tactics, and retell goals as if they had just witnessed something sacred. The sound is loud, the atmosphere is excited, but inside you is a quiet stillness that is hard to name. And then someone will ask that one familiar question you know by heart. So, you don't like football? The question sounds simple, but behind it lies an invisible comparison. Why aren't you like us? You smile and nod to let it pass, but in your mind you think, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I can't feel it. And the intriguing thing is, this says nothing about football. It says something about you. About where your attention, your energy, and your psychological values are truly directed. It's important to understand that not watching football does not necessarily indicate that you're abnormal. It is the first signal of something much more subtle. You are out of sync with collective emotion in a way that is very personal, very deep, and very meaningful. We often think that preferences are simply like or don't like, but in psychology, preferences are a map. They reflect your inner structure, how your brain seeks reward, and how your heart chooses what is worthy of feeling. And in the moments when you cannot blend in with the emotions of the crowd, you have accidentally touched a much bigger question. Why do I experience the world differently from them? That question is the first doorway to the journey we're about to walk together. When that question, why don't I feel the same as they do, starts echoing in your mind, most people will assume you're different. But in psychology, different is only the surface. What matters more is the mechanism underneath, because each person has their own emotional system, their own way of operating, and sometimes what society sees as a common joy simply doesn't match the structure inside you. This isn't due to a conscious effort to resist, not because you're cold or unfeeling. This is because your brain does not receive signals from the same source of pleasure. And that is the moment we step into the next part, where psychological science explains why there are things that make the whole world excited, but can't touch you at all. In psychology, there's a very interesting concept: value dissonance, the misalignment of values. It happens when society sees something as fun, exciting, or worth obsessing over, but your brain does not create the same reaction. It's not that you're trying to be different. It's simply that what awakens emotion inside them does not awaken anything in you. This is more important than you think. Because this isn't about football, it's about your internal value system, about where your mind truly finds meaning. Some people love music, some love movies, some love cars, some love silence, some love analysis. And there are also people who cannot feel collective emotion. Not because they're wrong, they just have a different filter. Think about it. A joy that cannot touch you, no matter how popular it is, can never become your joy. And this, in essence, is not a sign of abnormality. It is a sign of self-awareness. Because those who are sensitive enough to notice that my brain doesn't respond to this are often the ones who live most truthfully with themselves. This is the threshold leading to the 4 psychological types we are about to enter. 4 inner operating systems, each one a clear mirror reflecting how you perceive the world and how the world cannot define you. When you realize you don't pick up the excitement signal the way the crowd does, that's not the end of the story. It's the beginning of understanding yourself, because this misalignment doesn't happen randomly. It comes from the way your brain finds value, from the kind of reward your mind is programmed to pursue. And among the people who feel nothing toward intense matches, there is an exceptional group, a group whose silence is not coldness, but a focus turned inward toward the inner world. That is where we step into the first type. There's a type of person like this. They don't hate football, they don't see football lovers as strange, and they aren't trying to distance themselves from the crowd. They simply cannot feel the emotions that are shared between individuals. You know that feeling, don't you? When the whole group jumps up because of a goal, excited, thrilled, almost merging into one shared emotional wave, while you sit there, strangely composed. It's not that you're cold. It's just that your brain doesn't generate dopamine from someone else's victory. You don't get excited watching others shine. You only get excited when you improve. You experience excitement when you acquire new knowledge. You experience joy when you realize that today is better than yesterday. Your joy comes from within, from the things you build, achieve, and understand by yourself. It does not come from collective emotion, and such independence creates a subtle difference. You are not swept along by the crowd. You don't feel the need to join in just to belong. You have your own kind of autonomy, a quiet strength that keeps you from being controlled by other people's emotions. From the outside, people may think you're dry or detached, but on the inside, you have such a deep inner world that many things on the outside simply don't have enough power to reach you. You are not lacking emotion. You just prioritize emotions that truly nourish you. You're not resisting other people's joy. You just don't see a reason to share it when you don't feel anything. And this is not indifference. This is a form of inner awareness. It is a way of living that reflects your true self and independence without needing anyone's validation or understanding. Because for you, the most beautiful emotion are always the ones you create for yourself. Interestingly, not everyone who stops watching football starts with indifference. Some people used to love it deeply. They waited for every match, lived inside every passing moment of the game, and merged themselves into the emotions of the crowd. But then, one day, they look back and realize they are no longer the person they used to be. The feeling is like growing up and suddenly realizing that the toy you was once obsessed with no longer feels special to you. It's not that the toy changed, it's you who changed. They still see football as a beautiful sport, but they also see that behind that beauty lie other things: money, commercialism, advertising, and idolization. A world built to manufacture emotion, but not always to create meaning. And so the joy that once excited them gradually becomes empty. Not wrong, not right. I'm simply unable to touch them anymore. That feeling in psychology is called a form of existential detachment. This is the realization that you have been investing your time, energy, and emotions in something that has no positive impact on your life. It doesn't heal sadness. It doesn't solve problems. It doesn't make you better. It only provides you the sensation of consuming someone else's joy. And when they see the truth clearly, they withdraw, quietly, without declarations, without trying to prove themselves wise or different. They simply step out of the illusion that once made them content. And this is not arrogance. It is a quiet form of maturity. People in this group are often very deep. They don't reject joy. They simply don't want to repeat it when something inside them is already changed. They need things that are more real, meaningful, and capable of reaching them. Just like waking up from a long dream. No one forced you to open your eyes. But once you're awake, you can't pretend to sleep anymore. There is another very interesting type of person. They don't oppose football, nor have they ever been disillusioned like the previous group. They simply don't need it. You'll notice they still enjoy being around others talking about it. They still smile when their friends cheer. But inside, there's a gentle quietness. This sport is not their main source of inspiration. For this group, dopamine doesn't come from intense matches, but from entirely different worlds. Some are passionate about cars, fascinated by the feeling of understanding how a machine works. Some love gaming, loving that moment when they finally pass a difficult level they've been stuck on for hours. Some love films, drawn to deep stories that keep them thinking night after night. Some love music, moved by melodies that reach emotional places football cannot touch. Their joy doesn't lie in the roar of the crowd, but in the worlds they can interact with, analyze, immerse themselves in, and connect to in their own unique way. Football to them is not wrong. It simply repeats a predictable pattern. 1 match, 2 matches, 50 matches, still 22 people on a field, still the goalposts, still the ball, still emotions arranged in the same format. Meanwhile, their minds need something new, varied, exploratory, and especially personally relevant. It's not that they lack passion, they have plenty of it. They just direct it toward things that make them truly feel alive. It's like walking into a store with hundreds of items. Your eyes don't light up at the thing everyone else is fighting over, but at the thing that makes you feel, this is mine. Their minds work that way, not chasing what's popular, but chasing what awakens them. And this doesn't make them unusual. It simply shows. Every brain has its own style of reward. Some people love collective excitement. Some people love personal discovery. This group belongs to the second type, and that's not indifference. It is a form of authenticity. I will invest my emotions where I truly belong. There is another group of people, a group whose reason for stopping football doesn't come from indifference, doesn't come from awakening, and doesn't come from lacking dopamine. Their reason is simpler and far more honest. They once tried watching. They once tried blending in with the crowd. They once wanted to feel the emotion everyone else was sharing. But every time the screen lit up, every time they saw a player celebrating victory, every time they heard stories about the dream of becoming a legend, a feeling rose inside them. One not easy to name. It wasn't jealousy, wasn't bitterness, wasn't inferiority. It felt like a reminder, a very real reminder. I'm still stuck while they are living their dream. Instead of being entertained, they were pulled back into their own reality. They were compelled to return to their precarious jobs, back to unfinished financial burdens. They are once again confronted with unfulfilled plans. They find themselves standing outside their own lives while others seem to be moving swiftly. And when something meant to be entertainment only makes them feel heavier, their heart says, forget it. Why watch it all? For them, football is no longer a joy. It becomes a mirror pointed straight at the place where they hurt the most. For others in this group, the feeling is lighter. There is no deep wound. They simply don't see football helping with anything. It doesn't solve problems. It doesn't change their life. It doesn't bring them closer to any goal. And they choose practicality. They only invest emotions in things that reciprocate. People on the outside may think they're cold, but in truth, they are just protecting the most fragile part of themselves. Protecting it in a very humane way. They are safeguarding it in a manner that is both humane and honest. They aren't rejecting anyone else's joy. They just don't want to use someone else's happiness to cover their cracks. And occasionally, that honesty is the first step toward healing. When looking back at the previous 3 groups, the one who lives from inner strength, the one who is awakened from illusion, and the one who finds inspiration in other worlds. We begin to realize something. Not watching football was never a strange thing. It is simply a doorway, a path leading to where your mind truly belongs. And then comes the fourth group, the ones who are honest about their pain, which makes the picture even clearer. Everyone has a reason. Each reason is tied to how they feel, how they think, and how they are experiencing their life. When putting it all together, the question is no longer, why don't I watch football? But rather, what kind of operating system is my mind running on? Some people are so independent that collective emotions cannot pull them along. Some are awake enough to step out of hollow pleasures. Some need novelty, stimulation that is personally meaningful. And some are simply protecting their hearts from feelings of inadequacy or loss. Each type is a piece of the puzzle, and no one belongs to only one piece. We are all a blend of many parts, many stages in life. At times, you are the one who draws strength from within. At times, you awaken from illusion. At times, you need your own world to nourish your mind. And at times, you just want to feel safe in your emotions. No group is superior to another. No one is better than anyone else. There are only different levels of awareness and different moments in each person's journey of growing up. And when you understand that, you will no longer ask, why am I not like everyone else? Instead, you begin to ask, how am I taking shape? What stage of myself am I moving through? And the very moment you pause to ask these questions, that alone is already a sign of maturity. When you look back at all four psychological types, something strange yet deeply true appears. People who don't watch football, regardless of which type they belong to, mostly share one common trait. They're not interested in standing on the sidelines watching others live their lives. They like to understand. They like to do. They like to create. They like to progress, or at the very least, they like to stay close to things that feel meaningful to them. Meanwhile, football, or any activity that revolves around watching other people succeed, is always a form of borrowed emotion. The achievements of others activate a form of dopamine. But for you, perhaps the brain simply doesn't respond that way. It doesn't follow collective emotions, doesn't vibrate along with a stranger's goal, doesn't feel transformed by a beautiful play. Instead, it finds joy in understanding a little more about yourself, solving a difficult problem, or discovering something that makes you feel more alive. This isn't superiority. It is simply your instinct. You get dopamine from growth, not from consumption. And once the mind becomes used to building, pure entertainment struggles to hold on to you for long, not because you are bored with life, but because you are allocating your energy selectively. Many people watch football to escape reality, but perhaps you want to confront it. You want to understand why you're stuck. You want to discover a way out. You want to dig into what's happening inside. You want to resolve, not temporarily forget. That's why flashy entertainment no longer fools you. You find your sense of aliveness elsewhere, in the work you're trying hard to perfect, in a new skill you're learning, in a creative world waiting for you to enter. Very naturally, your brain prioritizes building over watching. It prioritizes things that create inner change over things that only amuse the outer moment. And when you understand this, you suddenly realize you are not indifferent. You are not trying to be different. You are simply someone who chooses to invest your energy into what truly nourishes you. That is a form of intelligence. It is a manifestation of consciousness and awareness. At times, it can also be a manifestation of courage. At this point, after moving through all 4 psychological types, perhaps a small stillness has begun to appear within you, a space just wide enough to take a gentle breath and ask a question that seems simple. So, who am I in all of this? Maybe you see yourself in the group that lives from inner strength, those who are not easily pulled by collective emotion. Or maybe you feel like the ones who once loved football deeply, then one day they realized it no longer touched them. Maybe you are the type of mind that loves exploration, choosing your own world to satisfy curiosity and personal inspiration. Or maybe you belong to the last group, those who are simply tired and don't want to use someone else's joy to cover the parts of life that still feel unsettled. And it's also possible, very possible, that you are a mixture of all of these. A person who has moved through many stages, many shifts, and many changes. A person whose psychology doesn't stand still, but grows with each season, each stumble, each small ache. None of the 4 groups is the most correct or the worst. Each group reflects something deeply human. How we try to find meaning, how we protect the heart, how we filter emotions, and how we shape our own world. When you ask yourself, which group am I in? That is not an attempt to label yourself. It is a sign that you are understanding yourself more deeply, touching a very real region inside you, the region where your preferences, choices, and reactions all say something about who you are. And perhaps what matters is not which group you belong to. What matters is that you dare to look into your inner world and notice that you are changing, growing, stepping away from what no longer fits, and moving toward a more honest version of yourself. Sometimes, a single small question is enough for you to begin seeing the world and yourself through a different lens. And then, after we've walked through all the reasons, all the types of people, all the stories hidden behind this seemingly small choice, you begin to realize something very interesting. Football was never the issue. It is just a mirror, a symbol, a simple way to look into yourself. Because behind the fact that you don't watch a match may lie an emotional independence, may lie awakening from hollow pleasures, may lie the need to find your own world to nourish your curiosity, or simply a desire to protect your heart from reminders that hurt. But deeper than that, it reveals something few people ever say aloud. You don't want to stand and watch others live their lives. You want to live your own. Many people watch football to forget everything for a while. You, on the other hand, want to understand everything. You want to look directly into what is happening inside you. Instead of escaping through someone else's emotions, you're not indifferent, you're not bitter, you're not antisocial. You're simply more honest with yourself than they realize. Maybe you once tried to go along with the crowd, tried to feel excited like everyone else, but eventually you return to a simple truth. Not every joy is meant for everyone, and beautifully. That doesn't make you less, it simply makes you more you. Because occasionally, the smallest difference in preference is the doorway to the biggest truth about who you are. If there is one thing you should take with you after this conversation, it is this: never be ashamed of the things that don't touch you. Your quietness in front of the crowd's excitement may simply be saying that you were born to seek other kinds of joy, deeper, truer joys that belong only to you. Live in the way your mind was designed to live. Feel the way your heart was born to feel. Walk in the direction your soul has been quietly guiding you. Because the moment you stop watching others live is the moment you truly begin living your life. Eventually, you'll realize something simple, yet powerful enough to change the way you live. People don't grow by chasing what excites the crowd, but by quietly choosing what brings peace to their soul. Some joys help us forget life, but others help us understand life. You don't have to pursue everything. You only need to pursue what ignites your heart. And sometimes, one small choice, like not watching football, can reveal a profound truth. You are learning to listen to yourself instead of listening to the noise of the world. Remember, life doesn't require you to be loud to be seen. It only asks that you live true to your nature, quietly but fully. If what you just heard made you understand yourself a little more, or helped illuminate even a small corner of your inner world, stay with Mindora. Click subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a small like here. Not to please the algorithm, but so our messages like this can reach those who truly need them, just as it has reached you. Mindora is not just a channel, it is a journey, a space for you to understand, reflect, and release. If you're willing, we'll go very far together.